Welcome back to the Old Colony Cast, a podcast about all things Plymouth and surrounding areas. I am your host, Andy. I am joined today by Captain Editor. I'm going to just keep changing your title every time. Yeah. So that's Fish. That silence there was Fish.
Yeah.
And we're talking over here. Stop interrupting. And as always, my co-host joining us today is Hanna.
Hello.
Welcome back to the show. I don't know. I'm welcoming you back. Do I welcome you to the show? You've been here like 2 years.
Yeah,
you're no longer a guest. It'd be nice if you welcomed. It'd be nice if you welcomed me to the show once in a while. But whatever. I'm just not. I'm not hurt.
I know.
Everybody likes you better. I guess.
Hey, well, at least I'm welcome.
But do we have a recap for something? I feel like. Am I remembering?
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't. Think
I forget every recap we plan on doing.
Yeah, I feel like there was something that we wanted to touch on, but I can't remember what it was.
Every time I say, "Hey, we'll
do that later." Yeah,
I've never done.
Well,
it.
Listeners, if you feel like we missed something in a previous episode that you have gone back and listened to, just let us know. You can email us at oldcolonycast@gmail.com. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, even when they say it in the episode, I've listened to them later, and I'm like,
never did that. But what are we talking about today that we're going to forget to recap later?
Right. We are going to be talking about the Boston Body Snatchers.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Spooky, because it's October.
That's right.
Nice.
Yes. And real quick before, a lot of this stuff, guys, let's be real. A lot of this stuff is on Wikipedia if you ever want to look into it. That's where I find most of things.
Wow, way to just ruin our show.
I'm just being honest, but I have to thank crimson.org for a article they did that had a lot of niche information on there.
Yeah.
So thank you to them.
Are they like a body snatching resource?
No, it's just a really cool article. The best one I found on it.
Okay.
At least.
Oh, is it a Harvard-based website? Is this a Harvard?
It might be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Crimson.
Crimson, the
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
I think of.
Yeah. That would have been nice for me to look at. I didn't do a lot of digging on that.
I don't know. It was www.thisisprobablynotttrue.com, but...
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to start us off in 1999.
That's fairly recently.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's...
I didn't think body snatching was still a thing.
I mean, who knows, right?
Okay, all right.
Probably.
All right.
But we're not talking about that at the moment.
All right.
We're going to talk about the renovating of Holden Chapel, which is part of Harvard University's... what's a campus? I almost said landscape.
That would have.
You could tell I went to college. I know what that's called.
She went to landscaping school, not college.
A construction crew was doing renovations on the building. They were working in the basement, and when they were working in the basement, they started to uncover the human skeletal remains from the walls of the basement.
Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's like we practiced.
I know.
That was take 6, by the way.
So obviously they were like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Just chunks of skeletons falling out of the drywall. So
That's a bad day for that poor contractor.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on what he likes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, let's be honest. I think if Hanna was breaking down a basement wall and found a body, would be the high point of her week.
Be like, can I check the skull?
I know,
And would anyone know? There's 7 of them. I should probably tell someone.
I always say either rescue a baby or find remains is one of my weird all-time would be very cool.
I'm surprised at rescue a baby.
I don't want to be in that situation or like that those happen, but if I had to or if I ran into it, I would be elated. Anyway.
What if you found remains and there was a lost baby at the same time? Just checked both of those boxes off at once.
I know. It's not a bucket list thing. It's just a weird thing I have in my head. We've all pictured weird stuff like that happening. It's good. Whatever.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Okay. Disassociation is healthy. So everyone does it. We're going to flash back to 1771.
Okay.
Ooh, this is a jump.
I know. I wanted to really Tarantino you guys.
Yeah. It's the kind of movie thing.
Yeah.
Because No, never mind. I got what you're doing, Hannah.
The old trick.
Yeah.
Dr. John Warren graduates from Harvard School, University. They don't call it Harvard School. 1780, he starts teaching a dissection class.
Okay.
So not long after he graduates. And then September 19th, 1782, he founded the Harvard Medical School.
Okay.
Okay?
He sounds like a great guy.
He's moving things along in the medical community.
Good for him.
Especially in Massachusetts. So Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
God bless you.
Thank you. They already allowed for dissection of corpses. So that was legal. Like
Okay, so it was allowed.
Yes.
That was going to be my question, because there was a time when body snatching was very common because doctors were like, we need bodies to study, but you couldn't really get bodies.
Yeah,
it was very kind of like weird, because they were kind of like, you can't
taboo.
do it.
It's
We're
still,
going to kind
still
of,
pretty taboo.
we're going to kind of look the other way a little bit, but
Or
not
there's, like,
really.
a quota you could have. 2.
Yeah.
It really relied on where they got the corpses from, and the kind of messed up part about it was like they needed to be donated, so they were people in
Prisons,
right?
yeah.
The poor, marginalized communities, any migrants, people who were in
People who weren't rich or white.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and these were donated bodies, so whatever the circumstances were of death, the people were in a situation, whether rightfully so or not, were donated to
Right.
medical studies. So that was allowed. That part of it was allowed, and that type of method of that hands-on dissection is called the Paris method or the Paris manner, because the Paris method also has another meaning, and I was like looking it up, and I was like, this is not the same thing. So Paris method, Paris manner. That was the idea of taking a corpse for study came from Paris at one time or another. That was how we were going to learn the human body, was really just picking it apart. So
Was that when they had those operating rooms that had like stadium seating?
and you could throw your raisinets in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was frowned upon.
I don't think Raisinets existed.
It's a Seinfeld episode.
Sorry.
Oh, right. It was. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
No, they did have stuff like that.
Yeah.
Different from the Seinfeld episode. I just
They didn't have Raisinets.
went right. That's all that popped up into my head. So, they did do things like that, and I'm sure the progression of it, right, looked different everywhere you went, because some medical schools were just starting out. Harvard didn't even have a medical school, so what did that class look like beforehand? It could have just been like some people hanging out around a table. In
the lunchroom.
In the lunchroom. They have it from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. like every Wednesday. So
They're like, can you pass the salt? They put the salt in the corpse's hand and like pass it over.
So the research method was really what bumped up, medical science at the time. People's kind of interest in it too. It's like, oh, I can actually learn this in a very hands-on way, and beef up the amount of doctors in the United States too by adapting that method. And it was just necessary for furthering the study of cadavers was necessary for medical science. Still is. They still use it all the time.
That's why you donate your body to science.
That's right. Yeah. And the legal procurement of the cadavers could not be sustained. So this is where...
That's where body snatchers came in.
Yes.
Yeah.
They needed more bodies, and they needed them immediately. The amount that they make it sound like they went through was, insane to me. So,
I feel like these guys are, half doctors and, half psychopaths.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Either way, they had to use what they called resurrection men.
Yes.
There's a fruit fly in here.
Get it?
I was going to blow it, and then I realized the mic would, just...
He would have edited that part out.
Anyway, so they used resurrection men to collect the corpses.
Grave robbers.
Different. Grave robbers are people who rob the belongings of a grave.
Oh, okay. Resurrection men, still just the body.
Just the bodies.
Okay, all right.
That is a very big distinction they like to make.
That the resurrection men are like, I'm not a grave robber.
Yeah, there's a higher class to what they're doing because they're doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
That's important, and they're not taking any of the belongings of the people who are buried. They're leaving that all there.
We're not taking their stuff to sell. We're taking their body to sell. It's totally different.
Exactly. They have morals. God, Andrew.
We're not. Okay, technically we're thieves.
Thieves, yeah.
Okay, and arguably it's probably a whole lot worse to steal the person as opposed to their stuff.
Right.
But it's for a good cause.
Yes. So, agreed. A resurrectionist or a resurrection man, as I just decided to look up the definition, which I found entirely entertaining because there's two definitions that I think are very different.
Okay.
A person who brings something to life. Or to view again. So to bring something that's dead, deceased, to view again.
Okay.
So bringing up the body, exhuming the body from the ground to view again, you are a resurrectionist. But if you can bring something back to life, you also are.
Okay.
I just thought that was interesting.
That is.
So that leaves us either
Dr. Frankenstein.
or Jesus or
Sure.
these guys.
Yeah.
Correct.
So really, they're just like Jesus.
yeah. Or
Okay.
the reanimator.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Good call. Good
Yeah,
call.
good call.
So I just thought that was like a very interesting line to draw.
I don't know if this is in your notes.
Yeah.
But wealthy families used to hire like a watchman to stand by the grave.
Yeah, it's the end of this tale. We'll get to it.
Okay. Am I jumping ahead?
Yeah.
Damn it. I didn't.
It's pathological,
Right.
really.
But I don't know her notes.
Oh my gosh. You're correct. So
We'll get to that.
Joseph Warren, Dr. John Warren's
Yep.
brother, founded the Anatomical Club, a.k.a. the Spunker Club.
The Spunker Club?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is a secret society made up of mostly students that were resurrection men.
Okay.
So
So the
this-
students were okay.
So the Body Snatchers of Boston, yes, run the gambit of anyone that was just looking to get paid that way, but it was also became its own fight club in a sense.
The first rule of Spunker
were
Club,
not
you don't talk about Spunker Club?
Not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to write about it. If someone asked about it, you had to act like it wasn't real.
Yeah.
And they would go out to collect the bodies, and Dr. John Warren was a part of it too.
Huh.
So the students themselves were going out to go get
Bodies.
bodies, yeah. Sam Adams' son was part of the club as well.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So a couple big names in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Spunker Club treated the act, well, at least some of the people in the club treated it like it was almost an art to perfect. They took it very seriously.
Okay.
And they tried to improve upon their
Their methods?
methods.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So we're going to talk about the methods. Bodies were ideal in the first 24 hours of death.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me means they had to have eyes on the graveyard of when people were getting put into the ground, and also kind of eyes on who's dying.
Yeah. Like, then it'd be
Right?
like, how you feeling? Are you feeling okay?
Right.
You look a little peaked. What are you doing tomorrow?
So they worked in a team. They said best a minimum of 3 people was ideal. The typical practice or the best practice was to dig a vertical just hole or tunnel just to the head of the coffin,
Okay.
using ground that was just roughly disturbed already. So we know that bodies are freshly buried anyways,
Right.
but the varying degree of how well they were covered up was relevant. So
Because you wouldn't want the ground to really settle and compact.
yes.
Yeah.
And then you also I don't know what was going on.
Man,
back
when I
then.
woke up this morning, I didn't think I would be talking about the best way to steal a body.
I don't know what was going on back then, but I know for some graveyards now, roll out grass on it. So there
Yeah,
could
yeah,
have been
yeah.
some sort of thing they were doing to help make it look
Like it wasn't new.
like it wasn't new.
Yeah.
Right? So they would go and find
There'd be just a post-it over the date of death. That would be 4 years ago.
so they were finding the graves that were freshly dug, not covered up very well.
Yeah.
And they were using that method of digging just a human-sized tunnel to the head of the coffin so they could break open the end of the coffin where the head of the corpse was.
And then kind of tow them out.
Yes, using rope to tie it to the shoulders and towing them out.
Sure. Like you would raise anybody out of a hole.
Yeah. So rather than digging themselves a whole coffin-sized hole,
Right.
they just went in.
Smart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, they're college students, you know.
They're going to Harvard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they're smart.
So obviously, we talked about what they did with their belongings. They're not grave robbers, so they returned all the things, clothes included.
Did they just leave them in the?
No, they put it back into the coffin.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So
like
they
leave
fold
it in
everything neatly, put it back in the coffin,
Yep.
bury the hole.
So they stripped the body.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the faster they could get this done, the better. Ideally, they were looking for like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
all done. So I think like the more people, but
So to get them from the grave to the wherever they were going, they didn't like Weekend at Bernie's them.
no, I imagine
Okay.
that they had some sort of a carriage. I read in one thing that they were like they had 3 guys, one for the getaway car, and I was like, car?
17 what?
Questionable.
Yeah.
So
That's just a typo.
correct, or just this
Yeah.
phrase of
Turn a phrase.
turn
yeah.
a phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, phrase of turn is what I almost just said. So glad I admitted that out
I
loud.
feel like we've had that conversation before.
Yeah, probably. So I'm sure everyone was put to good use that was on the team. They didn't want too many people because they didn't want to draw a lot of attention. Right. But one tactic they did use was taking a woman and hiring her to, not taking her, they'd hire her.
They would just take a person.
Yeah.
Like, she's alive. She
Yeah.
knows
She's
rules.
getting paid. It's
Yeah.
a job.
Yeah.
She'd ask a woman to do a job of being like
Like a lookout or something?
acting as a
Distraction.
distraught family member of a deceased person. So, like, if they saw 3 guys in a graveyard, suspicious,
Yeah.
right? Because body snatching has become a thing. But if
Oh,
they
so
see
there's a woman there being like, "Bah,
Yes.
bah."
yes.
They'd be like, oh, those weird
They're just
people
a
grieving
family,
at
yeah.
12:37 at night.
There's no wrong time to grieve.
Grieve
So
at your own pace, Andy.
that's right. So not everyone used that, but they did to help avoid suspicion. And obviously, like I said, it's like they couldn't have a whole crew of people there.
Right.
They didn't want to draw that much attention, but they also need enough people to get the job done quickly. They used different materials to help make the impact of what they were doing less apparent. So they used like cloth around the area they were digging to help keep the move dirt on and their like feet on.
Yeah.
So there weren't a ton of footprints around a grave.
Wow, they really.
Yeah.
This is like Danny Ocean level stuff.
This isn't just the Spunker Club either.
Yeah.
This is like just general cadence to probably any good body snatcher, right? I'm sure there are bad
Good
ones.
as in skilled, not as
Skilled.
good as in
Yeah.
like Robin Hood. Steal the bodies to give to the poor.
to give to science.
Those poor Harvard doctors.
I know, right? So, with all these things combined, the Spunker Club, like I said, they did try to like master it and make it something that they were good at. Some people looked at it more than just a way to get the materials they needed for school. Some people it was like became a real
A way of life.
Well, I could see it being like that
Investment
weird
of their time.
adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know.
I know. I'm not saying I wanted to be in that club, but
She kind of wants to be in that club.
it was
She just wants to find, air quotes, remains.
no. It
Excuse me, miss, where are you going with that naked body? I found it, officer.
and like you mentioned earlier, some families hired guards. Now those are
I didn't mention that. Did you edit that out? Is that still in the show?
too late.
All right.
We're pulling it back this time.
Not anymore.
So some families did hire guards, and you have to imagine those were wealthier families. They likely were not in danger of having that person's body snatched if they were already on the wealthier side.
Yeah.
These people, most body snatchers took advantage of the people who were disenfranchised. So like a
Right.
lot of African American
Kind of one of those, who are you going to complain to?
cemeteries,
Yeah.
were grave robbed
Yeah.
more frequently than white, and likewise for, like I said, immigrants, poor people, all that kind of stuff. So
The thing I found interesting about that is that they would hire, a bodyguard for like,
is that where that comes from?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Research?
Because people had bodyguards, but like a
A bodyguard. Yeah. We're going to get research on that right now. But for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because like once you started to putrefy, it was like, it's done.
All good.
Yeah, no one wants it now.
And they would also install, have you seen like the cages around graves? So that's what that was for. A lot of people look at that and go, oh my gosh, were they scared of zombies or something? And it's no, they didn't want their loved ones.
They should always be scared of zombies.
Corpse to be stolen. What's up?
Okay, so no.
Bummer.
No, the term bodyguard dates from the
Whitney Houston
earlier-
movie.
Yes.
Kevin Costner.
Dates from 1735.
Okay, so
So it's a
before
bit older.
then.
Yeah, but not as much older as I thought it would be.
Same, actually.
But I mean, it still could be in reference to that, I suppose.
I'm sure they had a fun name for that.
I mean, bodyguard is the fun name for it.
Yeah. It's the literal name for it.
Yeah, you got it. So other families who didn't have the means to buy a cage or a person to watch the body or the grave, they installed other deterrents, like just using big slabs of stone,
Extra
rocks.
long headstones.
They kind of would like Home Alone it. There would just be like a paint can on a tree.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, so it was a big thing. It was a known thing, something people were scared of.
Yeah.
Enough that they
took precautions.
Took precautions, installed things, did things so that people didn't get their loved ones' bodies. And for years, the resurrection men just took bodies from Boston cemeteries for a while.
Yeah.
For a long time, they were at it until 1815. Some new legislation passed in Massachusetts. It was the Act to Protect the Sepultures of the Dead. And you got it. And it made the disturbance of buried bodies illegal.
As opposed to before when it was just...
Well, it's frowned upon.
Like...
I think it made it more specific.
It's just one of those things. Now it's illegal. It's like, really? I thought we were committing crimes the whole time.
Yeah.
But,
why didn't anyone tell me this was okay?
It's always... I find the law tends to play catch-up, where it's like someone starts doing something and everyone's like, oh, that's not right. And they're like, well, there's no law against it. Well, let's go make a law against that, you know?
But if there's no law against it, why are you sneaking in at 12:30 in the morning?
Because it can still be frowned upon.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. And, like you said, there were grave robbers, like, taking belongings was illegal, so it's like they could have been getting confused with grave robbers.
Right.
Which they were not.
They were like, are you great? No. We just took this body. All the clothes and stuff are in the... okay, is that illegal? I don't know. All right.
Yeah. So, with that, patrols were used to deter grave robbers from... Sorry, not grave robbers. Body
Resurrection
snatchers.
men.
Resurrection men.
Should we say resurrection people? I mean, there were women involved.
There were women involved. You're absolutely right. The resurrectionists.
There you go.
Patrols were put in place to deter them from different cemeteries in hopes that they would catch them or just stop them from doing it altogether. Right. Harvard started importing bodies from New York where it was easier to get because they did not have the same kind of legislation there. 1829, Mass Medical Society published a plea stating that they could not properly study and learn with the lack of cadavers that was occurring.
And this is the craziest part is, were they doing something that was ghoulish? Yes. Were they doing something that was illegal? Yes. Were they doing something that was absolutely needed? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. Like, it's that, there's no right answer.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's like when you think about it, you're like, ooh, kind of like when you think of a movie with like this plot or, something like that, you're like, it would be kind of a cool thing. But like you don't actually think it's a cool thing.
Right. Yeah. Like it's like if someone did it to a family member of mine, I'd be super irate.
Yeah.
But like I understand why they did it.
Right.
Yeah.
So they stated that they would continue their practice, quote, in defiance of the law of the land. So.
Don't let the man tell you can't take a body.
Hell yeah, they're doing it anyway. And although the demand for dissection materials was partially satisfied, it was not enough. Mm-hmm. So in 1842, Harvard employed Ephraim Littlefield. He was a custodian there. and they hired him to supply bodies, however the means were of him getting them.
That's a really vague job description.
So I just love that he was a custodian, and they were like, "Hey, are you interested in like some part time?"
Wow, you mop pretty well. Have you used a shovel? It's kind of like the same motion.
And he's like, "I think I can make this work." So a weekend gig. So he got $25 a pop for each cadaver.
Do we know what that was now money?
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it ended up being like $4,000 or something.
Okay. All right.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now I'm nervous.
So
Anyway,
what's the year?
1835?
42.
42. That was pretty close.
You were very close.
Thank you.
So yeah,
I listen.
Ephraim is just doing a sing around Harvard campus, and then they ask him if he's interested in a little extra
I thought you said
work.
his sing around.
No. So he supplied them with bodies for a good while. He was also in charge when fish give me the eyes, and I'll stop talking when we find it.
Give you the eyes. That's probably not what you want to say when we're talking about body snatching.
Anyway, he was also in charge of cleanup.
Yeah, he's a custodian.
Yes. He's in charge of cleanup of the remains. Go for it. Thank you. Those are good eyes.
Thank you. $25 in 1842 is worth $836.31 today.
I don't feel like that's that much for stealing a body.
I don't know. That does not seem like a lot for,
I thought 4,000 seemed a little
low.
On the light side for stealing a human being. Yeah.
I know. You get way more on the black market nowadays.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ephraim, he was in charge of cleanup. He was a custodian, you're right. So he was in charge of cleaning up the remains and getting rid of them.
Okay.
And apparently, one of the easiest spots he thought to get rid of some of them was at the Holden Chapel in the basement.
In the wall.
In the walls. Which brings us back to 1999.
Which, in his defense, they didn't find him for, 160 years?
Yeah, give or take.
Is he smart dude?
He's the hero of this now. I have no idea. So that's how the remains got into Holden Chapel and uncovered. I think there was already a known, a known thing that society existed.
Yeah. I'm sure there were rumors.
The Spunker Club. Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. And then I think that just totally confirmed it for them.
Yeah.
And I know we've all heard of body snatchers. There's been some famous people out
Resurrection
there.
Men.
Resurrectionists.
Yeah.
So eventually that fell out of style with just more opportunities for people to donate their bodies to science.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. And
a lot of the stigmatism of not being buried kind of
fell away.
Because it was, the whole thing was
very
religious related,
yeah.
It was the fate of your eternal soul. If you weren't there when everyone came back, you were kind of out of luck. Because the whole point is you'd get your body back. Kind of.
Hopefully in better condition.
Ideally, yeah. Otherwise, that's a zombie apocalypse. That's a very different thing.
Yeah. So, lots of reasons going into it, but resurrectionists kind of fell by the wayside over time just because the need for them was no longer.
Right.
And Boston was not the only city to have this happening. It was happening all over the country.
We even talked about a possibility of a Plymouth body snatcher.
Correct, yeah. That was a doctor that lived that he bought some properties bordering Burial Hill so that he could hop into Burial Hill and snatch some.
Get his pick of the litter.
Yes.
Allegedly,
yes.
Don't want him suing us.
He's not around.
I know, it was a joke.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if we can get sued via medium, so I think we're okay.
Right. And there's been really famous body snatchers not in the US who are the people from England that would kill people for a body.
Yeah, there was all sorts of people be like, there's easier ways to do this than.
Yeah, what was those people's name though?
The famous ones?
Burke and
Stock?
Burke and Hare, something like that.
Burke and Hare, I don't know that.
I don't know.
All I'm thinking of is
they're not from here, so I didn't write them down.
All I can think is crazy serial kills like H.H. Holmes.
They're not from the surrounding area, so I didn't commit it to brain.
Google world's most famous body snatcher. That'll be in your Google history
Who is
forever.
it? Tell me now.
I'm working on it. The problem is when you Google famous body snatchers, you get to the movie. So this is going to take
I had
a
a lot of that. I had
Yeah.
a lot of that happening. And then who's the other guy? Like Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
Gein, the serial killer?
Oh, yeah.
Technically,
Oh, wait, no. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We discussed this before, haven't we?
yeah.
Because
I
that's,
mean,
that's the guy that they based Leatherface on, right?
Yes,
He
but
just murdered lots of people.
he didn't murder that many people.
Several people?
No, like
He body snatched.
he barely got the quota.
He barely killed them.
He barely got the quota.
Yeah.
It ended up, and it was just because he had like a random, just like snap moment. Right?
Yeah.
Most of the majority of what he got is because he was taking corpses.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it wasn't
Oh.
from him killing people and taking their skin. It was from
Doesn't make it a lot better
no,
or better at all.
not at all. I'm just
Yeah.
saying he was
Alright.
a famous
Yeah.
resurrection man,
Okay.
I mean, I think you can call him a body snatcher.
infamous. There we
The
go.
first big one I found was John Bishop out of London. He was one of the ones who
it
went
wasn't
from-
him.
Sorry, he's one of the ones who went from, hey, let's just make our own dead bodies.
Yeah, it's not him though. They literally made like
Again,
a
that's
show about them.
Yeah, that's a murderer, not a body snatcher.
No, these guys are
No, he
murderers.
was a body snatcher who
Yeah.
who said, you know what, let's just keep going. I don't know. It's tough.
Well, listeners, you have Google. If you really want to Google body snatchers, you can.
Oh, Burke and Hare.
Yeah, I was
Birkenhair.
right.
Yeah, you were right. That's pretty good.
All right, cool. We can end this then.
We're done. Mic drop. This is the part where we stop talking. And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at Inebri-art.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at Inebri-art.com. Thanks again for listening.